The strategic complexion of Northern Europe has undergone its most significant transformation since the end of World War II. With the formal accession of Finland and Sweden into the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, the Baltic Sea has effectively transitioned from a contested buffer zone into an operational environment dominated by the alliance. This shift is not merely a result of political realignment, but is underpinned by specific, high-end naval capabilities that these two nations bring to the collective defense architecture. The integration of Swedish subsurface expertise and Finnish surface warfare capabilities creates a multi-layered denial zone that fundamentally alters the calculus for any adversary operating in the region. Central to this new maritime reality are two specific platforms, the Swedish Gotland-class submarines and the forthcoming Finnish Pohjanmaa-class corvettes. The geography of the Baltic Sea presents a unique and challenging theater for naval warfare. It is characterized by shallow depths averaging only 55 meters, complex archipelagos, and brackish water that creates distinct layers of salinity and temperature known as haloclines. These conditions make the operation of large nuclear-powered submarines difficult while simultaneously degrading the performance of active sonar systems. This environment favors smaller, highly specialized forces that understand the hydrographic nuances of the region. It is within this context that the Royal Swedish Navy has honed its doctrine of subsurface warfare, anchored by the Gotland class. The Gotland class represents a pinnacle of conventional submarine technology, distinguished primarily by its Stirling Air Independent Propulsion system. Unlike traditional diesel-electric submarines that must surface or snorkel frequently to recharge their batteries, a process that exposes them to radar and visual detection, the Stirling engine burns liquid oxygen and diesel fuel to generate electricity while submerged. This technology allows the Gotland class to remain underwater for weeks at a time, moving silently at low speeds. The silence of the Stirling engine is critical. In the noisy, cluttered acoustic environment of the Baltic, a submarine that makes no mechanical noise is virtually impossible to track. This capability was famously demonstrated during joint exercises in the mid-2000s, when a Swedish Gotland-class submarine successfully penetrated the defensive screen of a United States Navy carrier strike group and simulated a fatal strike on the USS Ronald Reagan. Current operational data indicates that Sweden maintains a rigorous modernization schedule for these assets. The fleet has undergone significant mid-life upgrades to ensure relevance into the late 2020s and beyond. These upgrades involve cutting the pressure hull open to install new systems, effectively making them a new generation of vessel. The modernized Gotland class now features the same combat management systems and sensor suites designed for the future A-26 Blekinge class. These enhancements include the replacement of the traditional optical periscope with a non-penetrating optronic mast, which reduces the radar cross-section of the boat when observing surface activity. The tactical utility of these submarines in a Baltic conflict scenario is that of a sea-bottom sniper. They can settle on the seabed, powering down to minimize noise, and wait for adversary shipping or naval task forces to leave ports such as Kaliningrad or St. Petersburg. While Sweden secures the underwater domain, the Finnish Navy is in the process of revolutionizing its surface capabilities through the Squadron 2020 project. The centerpiece of this initiative is the Pohjanmaa-class corvette. Although designated as corvettes, these vessels possess a displacement of approximately 3,900 to 4,300 tons, a size and capability profile that would classify them as frigates in many other navies. The decision to build larger vessels marks a shift from the previous Finnish doctrine focused on small, fast missile boats. The increased size allows the Pohjanmaa class to carry a larger payload of fuel and supplies, enabling longer endurance at sea, which is essential for maintaining a persistent presence during times of crisis. The design of the Pohjanmaa class is tailored specifically for the extreme conditions of the northern Baltic. The hull is reinforced to Ice Class 1A standards, allowing the vessels to operate year-round in ice-covered waters without the assistance of icebreakers. This is a critical strategic requirement for Finland, as roughly 90% of its imports and exports travel by sea. In a winter conflict, a navy that cannot navigate ice is a navy that cannot fight. The primary offensive punch of these vessels is provided by the Gabriel 5 anti-ship missile system. This Israeli-designed weapon is capable of engaging targets at ranges exceeding 200 kilometers. Its advanced seeker head and ability to fly at extremely low altitudes allow it to operate effectively in the cluttered littoral environment of the Finnish archipelago, where islands and commercial traffic can confuse lesser systems. Defensively, the Pohjanmaa class addresses a historical gap in Finnish naval capability with the integration of the evolved Sea Sparrow missile. This system provides area air defense, allowing the ships to protect not just themselves, but also convoys of merchant vessels or transport ships from aerial threats. Furthermore, the class retains the quintessential Finnish capability of naval mining. The ability to rapidly lay sea mines allows the Finnish Navy to close off key maritime choke points, such as the Gulf of Finland, denying freedom of movement to hostile fleets. The strategic synergy between these Swedish and Finnish assets creates a formidable barrier often referred to as an anti-access and area denial bubble. In a potential operational scenario, the roles are distinct yet complementary. The Swedish Gotland class submarines would likely operate forward, patrolling the central Baltic and the approaches to strategic ports. Their primary mission would be sea denial, using heavy torpedoes to threaten high-value surface combatants and disrupt amphibious landing forces before they can reach the coastline. Their stealth forces the adversary to divert significant resources to anti-submarine warfare operations, slowing down any offensive momentum. Simultaneously, the Finnish Pohjanmaa class would secure the northern flanks and the vital sea lines of communication. Operating within the cover of the archipelago or in open water, they serve as a mobile deterrent against surface incursions and aerial attacks. The data link capabilities of modern NATO fleets allow these surface ships to act as sensor nodes, sharing radar and targeting information with shore-based anti-ship missile batteries and Air Force units. If an adversary attempts to break out of the eastern Baltic, they face a gauntlet: Swedish submarines hunting from below and Finnish corvettes striking from the surface, all integrated into a wider network of Allied air power. This naval modernization drives a significant shift in the regional balance of power. For decades, the sheer numerical superiority of the Russian Baltic Fleet was a primary concern for Nordic planners. However, the introduction of sophisticated technology like the Stirling AIP system and the high-end combat management systems of the Pohjanmaa class suggests a move toward qualitative superiority. The focus is no longer just on coastal defense, but on the ability to contest control of the entire maritime domain. The implications of this development extend beyond the immediate region. The security of the Baltic Sea is intrinsic to the stability of Northern Europe. by fielding assets that are specifically designed for the hydrographic and climatic realities of this theater. Sweden and Finland reduce the burden on other NATO allies, such as the United States and the United Kingdom. There is no need for carrier strike groups to enter the confined and dangerous waters of the Baltic when local forces possess the lethality to manage the threat. The combination of the silent, enduring presence of the Gotland class and the rugged, heavy-hitting capabilities of the Pohjanmaa class ensures that the Baltic Sea remains open to trade but closed to aggression. This creates a credible deterrent grounded not in political rhetoric, but in the cold, hard specifications of engineering and naval architecture.